Are we on? Are we on? Let's start this right. Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. We're back, just like I said. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a Poly Prep Country Day All-American and top 5 player in the country who started out as a child model. Listen, for the legendary Ford agency. What you know about being a child model, actor, being in commercials, and still coming out on top in New York City is one of the best. Well, she was blessed to be featured in Essence and Sports Illustrated magazines. She comes from a family of ballers, from a father who is a legendary coach to a brother who played for Georgetown University. So you already know she was born to win. In high school, this basketball head received a citation from the Brooklyn Borough president for scoring an astonishing 56 points in one game, finishing her high school career with 2,106 points. After high school, this basketball head received a scholarship from the University of Iowa, but chose to transfer to attend Fordham University because she became homesick. Listen, ain't nothing like coming home, baby, and doing it your way. Once her college career was over, she went back to the entertainment industry where she became an Emmy award-winning producer. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Poly Prep Country Day great and University of Iowa, Fordham University standout, Chinyere, Vann.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Hello there.
I changed it up on you. What's up, Glenn? How are you?
Go on. I just saw like about 3 or 4 different hairstyles. It's so good. Let me make this announcement to all my people that's on Instagram. You already know we on YouTube. I stream live from YouTube. So hit that link and come follow us at NYC Basketball Network. Come check out my girl. You know what I'm saying?
What's
Yeah,
up,
this
Glenn?
amazing story. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Listen, I took a little hiatus, finished my school year up, then my birthday kicked in, and then my tournament kicked off. So it was a lot of stuff happening. So I had to, get everything straight. So now the tournament is running smooth, and I'm ready to get back to work.
Nice. I heard that tournament was a big thing for you. Like, congratulations. Is this your first run at it, or is this
No. I've ran tournaments before.
Okay.
But the first time in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
The Coliseum was decimated for some years.
Shut that door. Got it.
I would say they haven't run tournaments out of there in like 20 years. And the story how it all came together, like I'm gonna do a mini documentary just to tell the people how it all came about, because it was crazy how things happened. But like I said, the Most High put me in the right place in the right time for me to do the right thing, and we made it happen.
Nice.
Salute to everybody on my Thomas Diggs Committee, Sports Foundation. This is what we do as a community to make things happen for the kids.
That's right. Congratulations on that. Congratulations.
Yeah, but listen, tonight is your night. All right. And after I get these people, I know y'all checking me on the Instagram. I appreciate the love. But please come over to YouTube. All right? Come over to YouTube. This is where we at. NYC Basketball Network.
Oh wait, so wait, you're alive on IG also?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So I'm talking to people on IG. They all hit me up. They all sending waves and smiles and thumbs up and all those things.
Ah, nice.
So I just want to make sure they come on over. They haven't seen me on IG. Everybody asked me, you don't do any more shows? I was like, I had to move over to YouTube because I was doing so many shows on IG, they stopped a few of my shows.
Got it.
I don't know what was happening about that, but anyway, we persevere. That's the kind of people we are.
Right.
That's right. So I want to jump right into this and, ask you, it's an obvious question for me, but for everybody else, who introduced you to the game?
The game as basketball was really introduced to me by both my dad and my brother, along with my older sister. We just come from a very sports background. My parents always believed that playing sports would just, help enhance your mind and your body and just basically your spirit. So basically my entire family introduced me to the game of basketball with a host of a couple of other sports as well.
Right. So let's just talk about this, right? What part of Brooklyn are you from?
I'm from Flatbush by Prospect Park, by by Ebbets Field, by all that. Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. And so, born and raised in Brooklyn, and there are courts all over, right? There's 92 courts. There's Wingate, there's Lefferts, Albany, there's and also Jackie Robinson. So all those basketball courts were on the surrounding area of where I live. So hoops was always around. That's also what introduced me to the game of basketball, was being from a neighborhood where there's easy access to basketball courts. Right.
So how important was your dad in the community, right? Because, sad to say, but a lot of us, including myself, grew up without a dad in the home, right? Mm-hmm. So for us, when I was coming up, it was Thomas Diggs, who passed away, rest in peace, who was a father and mentor to us all. How important was your dad in the community? And of course, with you guys coming up with time learning about basketball?
Thanks. Yeah, my dad, the late, great Teddy Vann, was just someone who always preached community. Him and my mother both preached community. My dad really just wanted all of his children to just excel, no matter what level. Is always, a tier of being better. And him in the community just really raised a sense of awareness of identity and who you are. And his presence built a lot of self-esteem and confidence for young boys, young teenage boys and girls, who then grew up to be wonderful men and women to this day. So his presence on the basketball court really was what really just motivated people, his presence alone. So yeah, as I think about it, you don't really appreciate someone, and that's why it's very important to acknowledge people and acknowledge their excellence while they're here on planet Earth, and when people always ask about my dad, I really take a moment, because he was that influential, not only for my siblings and I and my mother, but for those in the community, Glenn.
Listen, someone left a post under the flyer I made and said, I remember her dad working her and her brother out early on, and said how good he was in the community. I've heard that in the streets, in the neighborhoods coming up, and just knowing that. So salute to dad,
Thank you.
Yeah, and everybody that he touched. So
thank you. Yeah,
that's
it was.
important.
It's very important for those who live in whatever community that you are in. Right, it's the extension of who you are and what your neighborhood is, and it was very important for him to do that with, the neighborhood kids and with using basketball as a tool. So, yeah.
Yeah. I try to, be that guy in my neighborhood, and
That's right.
just to let the kids know you have someone you can reach out to, someone who walked your path and been on your side,
That's right.
and turned into success. So you can do the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sure there are those who haven't even told you yet, Glenn, that they are thankful and appreciate all that you do and what you bring into your community, especially through basketball.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna poke a little fun a little bit, but no, just like before we start the show, I'm watching you go into these different hairstyles and looks, right? And people don't know, before this came into play, you was a big time child model and actress, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit before we jump back into the basketball, because that's important too.
Well, I mean, I was discovered in the streets of New York City, simply riding in I guess a drop top vehicle with my parents, and I'm sitting in the back seat. And
hold on for 1 sec. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 sec. Hold on, because you're gonna make me do this.
What?
I said,
what's that?
The next time I do a show, I'm going to bring my whistle, right? Because let's slow down real quick.
Okay.
You just said I was discovered in the drop top driving with my family. Who the hell rides by and like, oh,
yeah.
Like, you just said that so nonchalantly.
No. No, I think that is one of the perks of living in big cities like New York City, LA, Miami, even Chicago, where folks can get discovered in the blink of an eye. And it just so happens I happen to be in the back seat. And excuse me, I'm thinking about maybe my sister's little story, that it wasn't, they didn't have a drop top. It was just simply a car that had maybe those windows that go all the way down. This is like the 80s, right? Maybe like I don't even know. But anyway, point being,
you was in the drop top chilling.
Right.
I had your shades on.
No,
someone almost crashed. It was like, hold on, I gotta get this.
I was 5 years old, and my hair, I guess at that time, was blowing in the wind, and a car that stopped along the side of us was like pointing at the car, and me in the back. And the story goes, my parents kind of like ignored whomever was driving the car, and they were persistent, as any folks in show business are when they see somebody, right? And they kept on honking the horn. And before you know it, I guess there was an exchange. And I appeared in my first commercial for American Express featuring the Gap Band.
This is crazy. The legendary Gap Band
legendary Gap Band, yes.
Right.
That's how it all kind of like started with my modeling career for the prestigious Ford modeling agency from the ages of 5 to about, I would say, 13, 14 years old.
And let's talk about some of the things that you did while with them. You was in that commercial, and I read that there was numerous other things you did as well.
Yeah. Well, with Ford, it was a very interesting time in the 80s for child models. That was the big thing. because a lot of these advertisements of children were in every published magazine, circular, newspaper, even tags on certain clothing. Two in particular that I was a regular model for were for a clothing line, two clothing lines called Jet Set and Eva Joya. And in these, I wish, when we do this again, all right, because we're not going to do everything. We're gonna do like a.
We'll do the piece. We'll do the piece.
4 or 5,
Right.
We're gonna make it a little series. Why not? So I'll show you, and then that's whatever. Anyway, so they had these tags on these clothing of items for Jet Set and Eva Joya, and it featured about 4 to 6 girls, all coming from diverse culture-looking backgrounds. And these that was the 80s, where you had your redhead, your blonde, your brunette, and maybe someone that had a different height or haircut, right? And those variations of simply hair, of simply hair color. It did not matter at the skin color. It was different variations. Wow. So they would have me feature with these young girls who we all matched each other in an opposite yet diverse way, right? So I was on these modeling these tags. I forget the actual name of it, for mostly Eva Joya and Jet Set, and featured in, I don't know, pictures of Esprit, Guess, J.C. Penney, Walmart, anything that had a child representation for any clothing brand. That was me during those times.
Nice. So what if you're on Instagram, right? You should come over to my page so they can hear you, and then because they can't hear me. They can hear you, but they can't hear me.
Oh, really? Oh, it's okay. It's fine.
All right, cool.
We're good. We could cheat. It's fine. It's about what we got going on right here.
That's right. So listen, right? You do all these amazing things, but your dad is working out kids in the park, right? You're seeing this, your brother's, becoming who he's becoming on the court. How did basketball kick in for you? Like, because you're on TV, you're in these commercials.
Right.
You could have went straight Hollywood and said, I'm not doing the ball.
Hollywood. I always tell people, if IG was something back then when I was easily, the number is ridiculous. At least
you'd have been out of here.
54 million, easily.
Yes.
Light
definitely.
work.
Definitely.
Well, to answer your question, it was simple. My parents, I had an older brother and sister, like I mentioned earlier. So I basically followed in their footsteps. My sister was on Sesame Street. My brother was on Sesame Street. They were playing ball. And it was just I don't want to say typical New York City, but New York is the melting pot of so many different things, not only cultures, financial backgrounds, everything. So it was just a story that we had as a family growing up in Brooklyn, with a little sprinkle of this and that. And that basketball was always in the mix of everything that I did. In fact, there were 2 situations where playing on the basketball courts as like an 8 or 9-year-old, where I scuffed up my face, fell, all that stuff, and I couldn't do a Wonder Bread commercial. So things like that, my parents really didn't mind me still playing ball and living that life of whatever I was doing as far as being a child model. So that's basketball was always in the mix. Playing tennis was always in the mix. Jumping double dutch, on the skateboard, playing handball, ping pong, paddleball. That was always in the mix as far as me being in Brooklyn. And actually, at the time of I want to say 10 or 11 years old, I was featured in Barbie. Was such a hot thing back in the 80s and 90s. Even before the 70s, 60s. It just goes far back. But in my lane, in my generation, Barbie had a magazine, and in this magazine, it had like a 2 or 3 page spread about me being this child model who played sports. So yes, it was always in the mix.
Listen, for you to be doing, again, modeling and acting at the same time and being featured, you wasn't like this prissy, stuck-up girl who wasn't afraid to get her face scuffed, play handball, fall on the ground and get rough and tough playing sports. So that makes you, one of one to me, because I've never heard that before.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never, it's all about balance, right? And we all have our form of balance, even as adults and now as a mother.
That's right.
Right? We all have our form of balance. But at that time, because my parents had me balanced, right, it was easy for me to perform on the basketball court and also be that child model and actor, which was also a form of performing.
I hear that.
Right?
Hear that. Yes, definitely. So what kind of influence did, we talk about your dad, right?
Yeah.
But then watching your sister and your brother, what are some of the things that you took from them that helped you succeed on the basketball court early on?
What I took from all of the individuals in my family, my parents and my
Especially
siblings,
your dad, yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
was the word simply like this. The word is enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is something that really can be taught to a certain extent, right?
Can't really teach it, yes.
But you really can't teach that. So it's like one of those things. It's like you have it or you don't, right? And my mother to this day, she's still an enthusiastic tennis player, still being a grandmother of 10, right? My sister is still enthusiastic in all the things that she's accomplishing as a mother and as a woman, right? My brother, the same thing. So that whole word of enthusiasm was something that we learned from an early age, and that's what kept us going. That's what kept us with it. It wasn't a fact of in it to win it, right? Because you could be in it to win it and you can't really go anywhere, right? You could, but it's that enthusiasm that was something that was definitely a word that was stretched out throughout our family.
And at age did basketball kick in for real, where you said, you know what, I don't really have time for the other things because basketball is taking up too much of my time?
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like after I was telling some of this story, after being on Sesame Street and actually and modeling, right? There was a time where I stopped modeling, and it was a question that I asked my old booking agent. Did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay. My booking agent. How do I do this? Let me see. Hold on. I just want to get off of the full screen.
No, I got you. No, you let it just talk. I got you. We good.
And, I asked her recently. I would say within the last 5 to 7 years, what was it that how did I stop modeling? Like, how did you just stop? And she was just like, you're going through puberty. You're looking really. No, she didn't say that. She was like, you just had a good run. And that's how they pretty much explained that to me as a 13, 14-year-old. Chinyere, you've done this for us. You are, listen, I was in the same, they had a Ford book that had all the different models of all the different age divisions. And it was this Ford book that had all the headshots. And I was in this modeling book for years with, Brooke Shields, right, and Lindsay Lohan, and other people. So, my appearance in that book was starting to get it started faded away after a while, and so that was my good run from ages 5 to 13. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you was coming up, besides your brother, who was some of the top ball players in the neighborhood when you was coming up?
Oh, well, this is Wingate High School basketball playground where I was raised playing ball and following in the footsteps of my brother, who also was raised at Wingate playing basketball. So to say who in particular, it was such a culture at Wingate basketball playground. I watched my brother play in the Nero League, and he played against Oh my gosh.
Oh, ooh,
You
I
brought him up
remember now.
earlier, Rob Phelps, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
He played against Conrad McRae. You know, he played against all those guys in that playground. You know, and a host of other surrounding playgrounds. But it wasn't until I would say I was about 13 or 14 where my presence of really playing basketball and really being nice and hanging
Right.
with the dudes. Like at 10, I was playing with the girls. I definitely was playing with the girls. I was playing with one of, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Because it's all different ages, right? I had people I was playing at 10 years old who were 13. So some of my teammates were like Katasha Artis and Kendra Nelson.
Yes,
and Eileen Williams. So these young ladies went to South Shore. They went to Paul Robeson. They went to Sheepshead Bay. So I was like 10 years old and they were like 13, 14 years old. And here I am playing with them, right? So that's when it was starting to become something that I couldn't physically play with the boys yet, but I had that competition of playing against Kendra and Katasha and these two sisters at the time, Jenny Canty and Ann Canty. Their father, Lee Canty, was one of the head basketball coordinators over there at BRC back in the day and worked at New York Parks and Recreation, right? So because I played with these girls at such a high level, that's when I became 12 and 13 years old when I could compete with the guys. So at Wingate, long story, right? But I have to make it transition.
No, so good, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't just me saying, hey, I can play with the boys. You know, it was me solidifying my game and learning not only from my father and my brother, it was also competing with the highest caliber girls at that time. So at Wingate, when I was playing ball at 14, 15 years old, everyone who steps on those 6 courts of Wingate is nice, right? And you have the different tiers of Wingate. You got the first tier when the people are just aight. The middle tier, they're better than the first tier. And, you know, they get better and better as you go. And until you hear the 5th and 6th court that are by the bleachers and by the water fountain and by the field and the track, those are the best courts that you could possibly play at. So, or play on, excuse me. Players like, and this is so hard for me to think of everyone, right? Because you have to understand, I was the only girl playing with the boys, and I saw a lot of boys playing, but yet I was the only girl that they could have to remember, right? So, Raphael Edwards, Dave Dancing Bear Morales, Andre Rivera, oh my gosh, of course, Ed Cota, Marlon, back in the day. Tyrone Grant, Darnell Williams. These are all people that over the course of time of 15, 16, that I was frequently not only playing against, but being on the same basketball team with them. Another people who went to Grady, Madison, Robeson, Wingate, all those South Shore, all these guys. Someone who went to Robeson and Jabbar Clayton, you know.
Yeah.
Just a whole host of people. Yeah, I mean.
Listen, you just saying.
I mean,
you come from a neighborhood where it was stacked. It was just.
We were stacked, and this is when I was. This is when I'm like becoming like better and better. And these are the guys that I'm playing the court with, right? And then at the age of 15, 16, this is when I guess they started having Dunker's Delight, right, at Wingate. And
the original, they brought it back. They brought it back, but you know.
The original Dunker's Delight. And I was a member of Nike One with Coach Brian.
Yes.
And I just remember some of my teammates I mentioned, like Darnell Williams, who went to Nazareth High School, and he went on to play for Xavier, and Tyrone Grant, who played at Grady and then went on to St. John's. And I heard about Kerry Kendricks, who went to Tilden and played, I guess, over like in Hawaii or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Heartbeat, who went to Grady. I mentioned Andre Rivera, who went to Transit Tech. And, all those guys were part of this Nike One basketball team. And I was the only girl on this Nike One basketball team with Coach Brian, representing, of course, Wingate, but just playing over there in Dunkers. And that was just an amazing experience for me. That was one of the boys' basketball teams that I played with. But
no, so listen, this is how important it is of the tradition for girls playing with the guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a 13 and under division, and each team have to have 2 girls on the team.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And next year we're gonna have a girls division as well. But since this is the first year,
right.
we definitely want to get them involved. And the importance of playing with guys, definitely steps their game up a whole nother notch. Katasha Artist came on the show. She talked about playing against guys. Corey Coleman. Who else? Coach Ruth Lovelace, who now coach boys and girls.
Yes.
She came up playing against us. And then you guys, when you transition playing against girls, you are the girls that kind of dominate.
Yeah, yes, for sure. I mean, that in the 90s and playing, that was where basketball, I want to say, was really at its peak, especially in New York City, where it wasn't us just playing on the basketball courts, but it was a full-on dedicated lifestyle of when folks were out there with my dad at Wingate, with Raymond Abelard and Avery Headley, who went to Erasmus, who went to E Hall, right?
I had him on the show as well, right?
Yeah, it was a culture, right? It was such a basketball New York City culture at that time in the 90s, the mid-90s, where it was like you really did eat, sleep, and drink basketball, where you were working at my dad, like I mentioned, at 7 in the morning.
Right.
And you maybe play some 3-on-3. Then we went to meet, we always had someone that I was, rocking with. My dad always had me with other basketball players, going to Kingston and doing all these different things and still playing ball and then coming back and then going to New York City housing and doing this. And then, so I was dabbling in a lot of basketball. It was a culture. It was such a culture. That's what I'm saying. It was such a culture, and it was very, very intense and very, very, it was a big thing, Newsday, Daily News, New York Post. You had high school stories.
We don't have that no more. We don't have the news anymore. Like, my page is the news. Dave Joint is the news. NYC Prospect is the news.
A Game
Podcast is the news.
Correct.
Are we there? Are we live? Is the news. We are the new media.
Yes. For sure.
But the advantage we have is waking up and going to the paper and seeing it in print, right? Which just a little bit different. Even though I appreciate what we do now for the culture, but it was just a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember your first game under the whistle?
No, I don't. When you were when you told me that you'd want to do this interview, I was thinking, like, did I? Are there games that I really remember? When you're just nice.
Talk that talk, sis. Talk that talk.
Then it all becomes all one hodgepodge of just being nice. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I can tell you, because it was so intense. Whether it was in the playground or playing in the gym or working out for Empire State games and,
what you know about Empire State games?
Representing and I saw with the great LaWanda Green. Coach LaSasso was my coach from John Jay.
Right.
It was Mia Ryan from Nazareth, Charlene. It was all of us. So it was so intense on all different pockets and nooks and crannies that every game was a championship game. Every game was intense, whether it was me playing with the girls or the game was on the line, playing in housing with Coach Walter Welch, who now works at New Heights, so it's just like, it was such the different pockets of this high intensity basketball. That's what was going on.
Nah, trust me.
So no, my answer is no. I do remember what the first whistle, blah da da, blah da da.
No,
Nah,
because usually
was intense.
no, because usually that first experience with us, putting on a uniform and playing under whistle is usually a nerve-wracking experience.
Mm-hmm.
At least for 99.9% of all the people who are asked that question. But it's all good. Listen, my guy who's Hassan Dukombi played for Westerhouse and went on to play at Penn. May he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
In his first game, he scored 30 points. He said, was like, yo, Pooh, I stepped on the court. It was just like.
I know what you're saying. Oh, hold on, Glenn. You're saying, Glenn, hold on.
Yes.
You said that we can't hear your guest speaking. I can only hear your response. Oh, so I have to go. How do I do that? How do I join the live?
Oh, I'm on live right now. Just tap my live.
But they're saying they can't hear me.
I don't know. Or they can't hear you when. They should be able to hear you through your live.
Oh, I have to physically go live.
Yeah, go live. Go live, right? Go live.
Request to join?
No, join my live. Join my live.
Okay, I send request. I just sent it. So can you hit accept?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, there you go.
But now it's going to be feedback. Ooh. Oh, which one? Let's see.
You can just turn your volume down because you're going to hear me regardless.
Okay,
they're going to be able to hear you.
Good? All right, there we go. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you have to understand, Glenn, when I was playing with the boys, right, probably so many things were going through my mind, right? Playing a sport that I loved, right? Representing for the girls and also being accepted on the basketball court. So not too many people have that experience, and you're playing against guys that are nice, right?
Right.
So, my answer to your question of, the whistle, it's all those elements, right? It's all those different layers, all those different pockets of me having that experience of just doing what? Playing ball, and just getting better and better every time I hit that court.
Wow, that's so amazing. That's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, you named some of the tournaments, but what other some of the grassroots programs that you participated? Did you play Gauchos? Did you play Riverside? What was some of the leagues? Nike One. First of all, for y'all who don't know, Nike One is a legendary team. If you was on Nike One, you had to be nice. It wasn't like regular, right? 1 through 12 or 1 through 10. How many guys they carried? Because I remember playing against them all the time coming up. You know? Who were some of the other grassroots programs that you played with?
So on the girls' side of basketball, I played on several New York City housing teams. And my coach at that time was Mr. Lee Canty. And Mr. Lee Canty, may he rest in peace, it was the most perfect basketball experience because he also had 3 daughters that played ball. One went to one went to Ford, and the other 2 went to Paul Robeson, Jenny Canty, Ann Canty, and Charlene Canty. And we grew up playing ball together in the beginning at Wingate for housing, right? Representing housing. And we used to play at BRC, right? So New York City housing being coached by Lee Canty. Then I played for Mr. Coach Bonnie Davis for Mika. I was a Mika head. I was one of the original Mika heads along with Katasha and Kendra and, Lovelace. And this is a long time ago, right? And so that was another program that I played for. Another program that I played for also was, I guess, an AAU team, girls team, and that was spearheaded by, I mentioned him earlier, Coach Walter Welch.
Yes,
That's
yes.
where, and we used to work out at the Mikio Center in Red Hook, right? So basketball games bring me all of these different neighborhoods, right, in Brooklyn. So that was another coach that I played with in another program. My parents and I were approached a couple of times to play AAU ball, but I was doing all these different things, and then I just couldn't stick to that commitment. So a lot of the New York City courts and programs is where I really gained all my basketball experience. And so on the boys' side, so that was the girls' side. On the boys' side, I like I mentioned earlier, I was playing with Nike One, and then I played on this boys' basketball team called Red Star. I don't know if you ever had heard of Red Star, but it was a basketball team that was put together by the late great Rodney Parker.
Yes, yes.
And that whole story about Rodney Parker is still a beautiful and will always remain a beautiful story of heaven is a playground. Rodney Parker and my dad grew up in the streets of Brooklyn playing basketball together, and Rodney Parker put together this team. It wasn't the Gauchos, it wasn't Riverside, it wasn't Gauchos, the Brooklyn Broncos. It was Red Star. My teammates, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but my teammates, you know this, but for about 2 years of my high school career, and this is when I was a junior and senior at Poly Prep, and we have yet to talk about Poly Prep because we're still talking about, in the streets of Brooklyn and in the city of the boroughs playing basketball, right? Some of my teammates were Richie Parker, the great Rich Parker, okay?
That's my guy, that's my guy.
I was playing with the rapper Cameron Giles, Killer Cam. That was one of my teammates for 2 years. Another teammate of mine was Skip Rafer Alston. I think these are some people that you may know.
They all friends of the show besides Killer Cam. Cam will come on one day.
We're gonna get Killer Cam on.
Yes.
Dwayne Jordan, Wayne Fletcher, Norris Fletcher. These guys, Sam, all these guys who went to these different high schools in the New York City area that Rodney put together, who really weren't trying to play in the Broncos and Gauchos or Riverside, because some of them would show up. Some of it was like the first 5 who were at our games and the tournament. You got the shirt, you got the Red Star shirt. So those were the 2 boys programs that I grew up. That's pretty tough, I think.
No, that's real. And I just want to go back a little bit to talk about those NCAA tournaments. Let me tell you, some of us, we started out at CYO, but if you was one to play against the best of those really good players, you had to play in the NCAA circuit. That's just what it was.
Yes.
That's just what it was. You want to face guys who probably didn't play on their school team, but it's probably nice in the neighborhood. You had to go against that. All right. And these guys were very good.
That competition was tough, especially, that's when, again, they had that's how you know the girls were very active also playing the ball, because they had a full division array of 12U, 14U, 16U offer NYCHA, right? So that was what was going on. For sure. That's a long time ago. Glenn, it's like,
I remember, I know. I'm from that era. Probably a little bit before you, but I'm from that era. Trust me.
It was intense.
Yes. Definitely.
It was intense, right?
Yeah. So
yes.
You had all these schools around you, all these good public schools. You had Wingate, Erasmus. You could have went to Grady. You could have went to, Bishop Lockland, Sheepshead. You could have went to all these schools, but you chose to go to Poly Prep. Why Poly Prep?
I went to Poly Prep because it was just another school that just had the amenities, the resources. Coming off a middle school, I went to Brooklyn Friends, where I played on an all-boys basketball team there.
Yeah, so that's direct. Hold on, you already know. I know that's a pipeline. Brooklyn Friends straight to Poly Prep. That's the pipeline right there. Yes.
That is the pipeline. I'm the originator of that pipeline.
Okay.
The original head for that. The true basketball heads, right?
That's right. That's right.
So coming off of playing on the boys basketball team at Brooklyn Friends, and going there, for grade school or middle school, excuse me, Poly and all these other schools at that time were good in basketball, and I was just like, it's in Brooklyn. I know the great Malik Russell went to Poly Prep as well, and he's someone who grew up playing basketball with my brother on the courts of Wingate, another amazing player coming out of Brooklyn, right? So it was a no-brainer for me to go to Poly Prep for high school. Yeah, that's
makes sense.
Right?
Yes. Now
that's what it was.
I usually ask about the transition, right? But I know since you went to Brooklyn Friends and transitioned over to Poly Prep, the transition was fairly smooth.
It was very smooth. Again, academically it was smooth. Basketball wise, it was smooth. Brooklyn Friends did have a girls basketball team, but it was just a girls who were interested in being on the team, right? And it was unfair after sixth grade, after they realized how good I was. They're like, that's not unfair. That's not fair that I'm playing with these girls. So that's why I was able to play on the boys team. So that transition, playing on the boys and then going to Poly on the basketball, on the athletic side, was an easy transition for me as well. So all of that were all the different layers of transitioning from one school to another. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you.
Yes.
Did you have to play JV or did you go straight to varsity?
Oh, I went straight to Vars. So earlier in when we first started speaking, I was talking about the importance that my parents really instilled in us about sports. It could be any sport. We talked about enthusiasm, right? All those components led me to be a freshman who played 3 varsity sports. So I played varsity basketball, varsity volleyball, and varsity tennis. And
nice.
And that's something that's a rarity of being a 3-vars athlete in any school, right? But
no, in New York City, period, you play in one sport. They probably allow you to run track or something, but you're not really playing anything else, especially in New York City.
Right, and that's what I talked about. It's having all those tools, right? And so I was able to be a 3 varsity athlete, and my freshman year playing girls vars for Poly Prep, coming off of, before I got there, a 2-18 season. My freshman year, we became 10-10, and then after that, for my sophomore, junior, senior year, I think we ended up being like each season maybe 20-2, 21-1, 18-2. It was something crazy like that as far as our wins. We started to get really nice, and it wasn't just because of me. It was because of the coaching staff, and it was because of my other teammates who were really a lot of them were my great friends. So that's what was going on.
Who are some of those teammates that you played with?
Oh, so it's great because when you have friends, right, they start to want to do things that you want to do, right? So we all got better. So we all were at Wingate Park with my dad, working out. Cara Gordon, Dion Wilson, Victoria Senja, Jennifer Drimmer. These are all girls that were from different neighborhoods in Brooklyn. They were my teammates at Poly Prep. And none of them went on to play even college basketball. Maybe one girl did, but we were just so intense as far as enthusiasm, right? That we just want to be nice. Once we started winning, we're trying to get better and better, and win our division. I think the Ivy League was the league. Win the, I don't even know, class, whatever it was. We were just so happy to be together and have that type of sisterhood together where these girls, one girl, my friend Dion at that time, came to like Eastern Invitational basketball camp with me just to be my roommate and keep me company. I mean, she had no business. She was a field hockey player and she ran track, but because we're best friends, she was like, and she knew how I was about like, you know, wanting to always like be around my friends. Her parents were like, yeah, Dion could go with Chinyere to the Eastern Invitational overnight camp. So that's what we did.
Eastern Invitational, nothing like it. Wow. Listen, first of all, hearing your lingo, right? Because most people say, you know, and if we were good enough, no, you was like, when you were nice, right? So people got to know there's levels to this, right? So listen, when you say that, you got to be from the era. Because nowadays, these kids like, you know, if we're good enough, no, if you're nice enough. Like, and we're not just talking about being a nice person. We're talking about being nice enough with your skill set to be able to perform with the top ball players that's around you and in your area and abroad.
Yeah, it was such a culture of, like I said, eating, sleeping, and drinking basketball, where you also had your parents, right? Some people had, whether it be two parents, one parent, sets of four grandparents. It was so aunties, uncles, cousins. Everyone would pull up. When I was playing at Poly Prep, and I was playing on Red Star, and I was playing at Nike. You have to understand,
right.
This is 4 years of doing all of this, right? We were pulling up. People were going to each one of my games, families, right? Whether you were there was always a representation of a family from whatever team that I was playing on to go watch me play at another. So it would be me playing at housing, right? And the girls not being on the boys team, but those families coming to watch me play on the boys team. It was me playing on the boys team, and clearly the boys weren't coming to, you know, play on the girls team, but it was those families that I played with on the boys team, right? It was Wayne and Norris's mom, D Nice, Miss Fletcher,
right,
coming to my games when I was playing with the girls, right? So it became just such a culture, and families were involved because everyone saw not only me, but, you know, the whole community, right? The basketball community enjoy themselves and play ball. And that's what it was. And that's what I think may be missing. I don't know. I haven't been around. No, I haven't.
Oh, no. The parents are there. The parents are in full-fledged every game. They don't miss a game. Some of the kids get upset that their parents are at the games so much. And I let them know how important that is for them to have their parents supporting them.
Yeah.
And they will appreciate it later on.
Yes. And a lot of these parents, because, you know, I'm now a parent of a 14-year-old daughter,
right,
a 12-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old son. Some of these parents can live vicariously through their children, right? We've seen that. But now I'm from the generation where I see someone like, you know, I follow a lot of these guys who I used to play with, right? I see these guys who are trying to really get their kids to play ball. And it's such a beautiful thing to have the next generation of watching these guys. Beautiful story. Darnell Williams with Nazareth, you know, I just saw him on IG that his daughter is like a standout basketball player. Him and his standout basketball player. That is amazing to see that. I see on IG, and I hit him up every now and then to see Ed Cota with his children who are playing ball. You know, now I see David Morales, Dancing Bear, with his son who plays baseball. I see all these things going on with fathers and families playing a sport.
Yeah, Rob Phelps had his son with him. He came to the tournament yesterday and today. Had his son tagging right along. His son is almost my height now.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see and just be a part of it. It's my children playing sports and playing tennis. It's just so wonderful to see and actually witness all this, and to see what wonderful mothers like LaWanda Green has become, right?
Right.
Right. It's wonderful to see these dads out here with their children all the time, playing ball. It's just really, really nice. It's it's just wonderful to see.
No, it's amazing. Now what team used to give y'all fits? You talk about early on you guys improving. What teams, what high school teams that y'all played against that,
Oh, the
kind of
team
like
that
y'all
used
rival?
to give us fits at that time in our division would be Riverdale Country Day School.
Yes,
And
yes.
Riverdale Country Day School had this young lady by the name of Nisha Butler. Who, oh my gosh. Now, terrible. What a terrible basketball player. The worst ever. The great Nisha Butler.
Salute to Miss Nisha Butler.
Oh my gosh, the all-time leading scorer in girls and boys New York City basketball, who went on to play at Georgia Tech and do amazing things and currently doing amazing things. Riverdale used to be the school that gave us a tough time.
Now speaking of Ms. Nisha Butler, there's a girl from Susan E. Wagner named Nicole Milios who's on the brink of breaking that record.
Really? We're gonna find that out.
She averaged 40 last year. I think 38 or 40 last year. She took her team literally to the city championship.
Check your IG, Glenn. Check your IG because someone just said that up. Dude,
got you.
I'm listening.
She took her team to the city championship and played against the mighty South Shore. They lost, but she was the top scorer of the game and the best player on the floor. I went to watch her in high school. Then I seen her play in the Rose Classic. She's the real deal. And guess what school she committed to?
What?
Georgia Tech.
We're definitely going to find her. Are you kidding me? Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I like that story.
Yes. So I always support her. Her and her dad and I are cool.
Right.
And whenever I see Nicole, I give her props because, I told her, the world is a basketball life.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And she's a basketball head to the fullest. She's serious about the game.
Right.
And, kudos to you, Nicole.
Yeah.
But check out Nicole Milios. She got one more year. She has one more year.
I'll make sure that Nisha's aware of that storyline, and I'll let her
she's
know.
Already at 2,000 points.
Oh my gosh! And she has one more year left.
Yes.
Wow! Yeah. So yeah.
And she only played 2 years of high school because of COVID.
That's crazy. She must be nice.
Oh, she's nice. She can shoot that thing, left hand, right hand. I told her now, when you get to the next level, I said next year you got to be a beast on stopping the best player because
that's right.
When you go to college, those girls going to challenge you because of your numbers. Those girls going to challenge you because you're from New York City. They're going to want to outdo you because you are who you are. So you got to be able to balance it.
Definitely. For anyone who is logged on now, I have to plug in my computer. Hold on. For whomever is logged in now or sees this interview as you post it and it's, in piecemeal or whatever, I will say this, it is really important. And I was working out with some young girls today. It is really important to be in shape. You have got to be in shape to play any sport. And even with your mind, if it has to do with scholastics, right, you have to exercise your mind if you want to be a good student, right? So in the game of sports, right, being in shape is key. So from whoever is listening, any athlete, you have to be in shape. I seriously recommend jumping rope. I really recommend running around, the track, Prospect Park, anything, what made me
or the beach, go to the beach
anywhere and get yourself a running partner. That's one thing, I knew at Iowa that I had that's here we go, talking about Iowa for a quick second. When I went to Iowa, one of the things that they really enforced, or that was really key, was for me to be able to make we have
I'm going back. And this is the problem I said with IG, right? They have a problem with they kick me off every now and again.
Oh, so let's do it. It's okay.
Oh, that's okay. It's all good. I don't mind. I'll go right back. So
So here, let me try to do it. Hold on. So do I have to do?
No, just send the invite and we're back on.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
And just do what you do. So I just want to give another message. It's important. You know, I was talking to this young man today about not pouting and really being a good teammate, no matter what the situation is, because it's just the beginning.
Let me see.
And each level you go on, it gets harder and harder. It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier. And the fact that there we go, you there.
There we go.
And the fact that, you know, you went to the Big Ten, which I always say this. New York City people, for some reason, us in the Big Ten is not a good mix. It's like oil. It's like oil and water. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna just keep it real like that. I've seen so many people, and it's not a lot of us that go to the Big Ten, but boys and girls from New York City.
It's just an exclusive group.
I always ask people, name me 3 people from New York City that did well in the Big Ten. You know, and it's not saying we can't succeed there, but it's just a different culture, different mindset. It's a different mindset.
Right. Yeah.
Just in general.
For sure. You know, like I said, it is very important for you to be physically in shape, because no matter how much ball you play, I get it. Working out, these trainers out here, pick up, AAU, travel teams, all that stuff. Yes, do it. I love it. I support it 100%. But you must be in shape. And for me to get to Iowa, I knew I had to make that mile. And at that time, I was running with my boyfriend every morning, right? Around Wingate track. I think it was 5 laps for a mile. Every morning, I had to do it. I had to do it because I didn't want that one thing of being out of shape stop me from playing on that squad.
That's right.
And that was a serious squad then, Glenn, of playing at Iowa. It was the best recruiting class ever known to, I want to say, women's college basketball. And that was the Supreme 7, where you had 7 first-team All-Americans playing at that time. When I entered, I was a freshman and they were sophomores, but they were part of C. Vivian Stringer, the great C. Vivian Stringer's recruiting class of the Supreme 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome within itself.
Yeah,
you know?
So it's being in shape. That's my whole point. Just get in shape. Make sure you do those laps. Make sure you make your mile. Make sure you have that cardio and endurance, because what makes players really great are the ones who survive on the court the longest. Playing pickup, right? You're playing 3-on-3, you're playing 4. Who's on the court the longest? Those who can stay on the court through the sun, the heat, the anything. It's whoever has that endurance and whoever is in shape.
No, that's real. That's real. When did it kick in to you that you was gonna be a big time Division I player? Like when did that kick in high school?
Again, when I was playing on all those teams, the boys team, the girls team, I just knew that.
You knew back then? You knew back then, even before Poly Prep?
Yeah. I knew. I mean, my brother was Coach John Thompson's first. Actually, I'm going to put you on mute for 1 second, okay?
Okay. All right. Listen, it's so important that y'all listen to the story, right? Because y'all getting it from one of the greats, right? And is really that we get to hear these stories because we're usually hearing it from someone else, right? So now we're getting to hear it from the person themselves, and you can hear all the lessons and all the trials and tribulations that they had to go through to be great. So you can take these lessons and make it work for yourself.
Yeah, and everyone has, you said levels, right? Everyone has their levels of trial and tribulations. You know, everyone has a story to tell what made them great.
That's right. That's right.
What made them great. At a young age, I knew I had that support of family and community and a brother who were just nice, you know.
There's that word again.
It's the blow the whistle. Nice.
That's right.
My brother, coming out of a rinky-dink private school here in Brooklyn, right, where he grew up in the courts, like I mentioned earlier, the Kingstons, the 92, the Leffords, the Wingates, right? But my brother got into his senior year. You know, some people applied to college, and in this particular case, my brother applied to a whole bunch of schools, and his last two schools academically that he got into was Duke and Georgetown. And at that time, this is 1988 and 89 and 90 and all that stuff. And my brother wanted to play basketball. He was just coming out of high school, right, in a private school here in Brooklyn. And, you know, I guess some word got around that my brother and I were on campus, right, and my family. And we were able to meet Coach Thompson and this visit to Georgetown. And Coach Thompson heard about this kid from Brooklyn who was on campus. And Coach Thompson met my mom, my dad, me, and my sister and my brother on campus and showed us all of DC, drove us in his car. And Coach is a big dude, right? So he was in this Cadillac with his seat all the way back. Because Coach Thompson, to me, in my eyes, at that time, I'm like 10 years old, right?
Right.
Coach Thompson's car seat was all the way in the back. And he showed us all around the Georgetown, Washington area. And that's when my brother decided, hey, this looks like a thing, right? We all know the great John Thompson. My brother was wowed by the fact that not only are we sitting in this car with John Thompson, but John Thompson at that time, when no rules were applied to Division I athletics, right? John Thompson offered my brother as a walk-on. So my brother decided to go to Georgetown, and John Thompson offered my brother a full scholarship. And it was my brother was John Thompson's first scholarship walk-on Georgetown University. And his roommates were Dikembe Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning for 2 years.
Turn your volume down on your phone.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good?
Yeah.
You want me to repeat that, or are we good?
No. We good. Mm-hmm. No. This is good. This is good because again, it shows you that not only you have to be good on the court, you have to be a good student off the court, because we all know that Duke University and Georgetown are amazing academic universities, and you're just not walking in there and on any of those teams being a walk-on and think you're going to have the red carpet roll to you, right? Because a lot of those teams, you don't take walk-on.
Right, they don't. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. And folks who understood that, it was the biggest deal in the world that my brother came out of this school and was a walk-on. So when I had that type of person to look up to, along with parents who instilled in us the importance of, you know, playing sports for a healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul, healthy spirit, right? Being nice was the only thing I could be on the basketball court. So I knew from a young age, having looked up to all these people and my community and those around me and my brother playing here and there and there, that I knew that being nice was the only option. It was the only option.
Do me a favor. Take the Wi-Fi off of your phone. That's why you're probably lagging behind.
Oh, take the Wi-Fi
off your phone.
You know, for me to work in television, I'm the most tech illiterate
Yeah, you'll need your Wi-Fi on your phone unless you have blank spots in your house.
I do not.
Okay, so
Are we good now?
you can use your phone Wi-Fi and come back on, and I'll get you back on the YouTube. Yeah, I mean on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah.
And let me know when you want me to stop.
No. Because we good on YouTube, so we catching everything.
Okay, great.
And I don't edit my shows.
Okay.
So I'll let everything go through. You want to go out and come back in?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me see if you're live.
And then I'll send you
a request.
Just send me the,
Send me a request again. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Y'all want to check out the full show? We still here on YouTube, NYC Basketball Network, where y'all can, put it on your TV.
Boom.
There you go. I sent you another one. And y'all can check out exclusive interviews, especially my guy, the elite trainer himself, Jerry Powell, Paul George, Lance Stevenson, you name him.
Yeah?
He trained them all. Oh, yeah, there you go right there. He's in the background. Yeah.
All right, send it to me again, Glenn.
Okay.
I see him in the back. Thanks.
Yeah. So you go down, I'd say you go down, scroll down, you can see Lloyd Daniels, you can see Ross Strickland, you can see Kenny Anderson, you can see Jerry Ice Reynolds.
My brother and I used to work out with Lloyd Daniels at Glenwood Gym at the wee hours in the morning back in the day when my brother was at Georgetown and I was a little girl, and we used to be at Glenwood working out with Lloyd Daniels back in the day, and then it's funny.
I just sent you a request. I don't know why it's not coming through.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks.
Listen, let me tell you.
Yes.
Lloyd, he was one of 3 guys who ever bust my ass, right? You have Lloyd Daniels, Mike Morrison, who played at Mount St. Mary's, then played for Phoenix Suns, and then Anthony Mason and West Forth, right? And we know about his story. Rest in peace, Anthony Mason. But Lloyd, I shared a 47-piece, and he gave me, my guy, Mark Brown, and Anthony Joseph, we all played for the Broncos. He played in the Gauchos. Mind you, we won the game.
Right.
They subbed Lloyd out, but Lloyd wouldn't come out the game.
I'm sure he did.
And threw the whole vibration from his team off, and we wound up winning New York AAU City Championship because of that. So,
just because of that. No,
yeah.
Lloyd
he still gave us 47 though. So
I'm sure.
And this is before he got, shot and he got to that incident because he could have played in the NBA at 16, 17 years old because of his skill level.
One of the originals, right?
Yes.
I mean, that court at Glenwood was so small, right? It's for those that don't know, it was called Glenwood Health and Fitness Racket Club, where it was a full gym with nothing but weights. It was such a dude gym, there was no women or any representation at that time. However, in the back, there was a basketball court that was a full court, but it was like really just a half court only. And
right. Half court with the foul line almost. Right.
Lloyd Daniels, when we used to work out with him, Lloyd Daniels used to shoot from jump shots from one end of the court to the other basket. Right. So he used to shoot his jump shots just like, it was probably like a half court shot, but because it was a small gym, it was the full court. It was a full court. Right.
And most people will push it, and he just shoot.
It was a full-on elbow up, follow through jump shot.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that as a 10-year-old and being totally wowed by it, as him and my brother used to work out at Glenwood. So.
Now, what year did you score your 1,000 point? Right, because most people are happy to do that in 4 years, Miss Vann. Right? A lot of us are happy. You know, I'm one of them. To be a 1,000 point scorer in 4 years. When did you crack your 1,000 piece?
It was my sophomore year that I scored 1,000 points, and it was my senior year that I scored.
Yo, fam, stop this! You scored 1,000 points in 2 years.
In 2 years, and that was when my coach. You have, again, you know, folks that are listening and true understanding of eating, sleeping, breathing, basketball. I was practicing, playing, practicing. So every time, like I said, whenever time I stepped in the court, it was a bucket. It was a bucket. It was an easy bucket because I worked out and I played it. I hit the shot before. I'm going to hit it again no matter where I am. It didn't matter what gym. It was the same scenario where I just had to dribble, cross over, do some type of move, right? It sounds crazy saying it, but do a move, catch them off, pull up and take a jump shot. Do a move, cross them up, do a layup. Back him down, and you have to understand, at that time, I was a 5'9", 5'10" point guard. Because my dad always believed for me to get to that next level, which is that D1 level, I wasn't playing center on your team.
Oh, no.
I wasn't playing center. So it was easy to score 1,000 points his sophomore year and easy to score 2,000 points his senior year.
Okay. I'm going to ask you straight up and down just because we always talk about how nice we were. Who else did you bust to let you know you was one of the top players in the city? We gonna open up a can of worms right now.
Who did I know that was nice? Oh, as I bust like that, I don't. I really.
We talking about you had 56 points. All right, you got a citation for the Brooklyn Borough president.
It was.
Don't tell me you got 56 points against the trash team. Like, come on.
No. What I'm gonna say is, and out of all the times that I stepped on the court, you know, and more times than not less, more than less. Well, okay, more than less. I was killing. I won MVP like in almost like all the tournaments my junior and senior year, whether it was in high school playing at Poly, or was it playing at Housing? It was playing at Golden Hoops. It was me just scoring buckets, being nice. Riverbank. I was always winning.
Okay. So
I was always winning MVP trophies and killing them. So. Is there anyone in particular who like I killed? A lot.
How did you do against Riverdale? You played against
Nisha Butler. We won some, and she killed me, and I killed her. You know, it was me playing in How do we log off again? This is really I like it, but I don't like it. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Whatever.
Listen,
I'm not on Wi-Fi.
This is why I
love it.
To YouTube.
I love the YouTube. I love it.
Too much. Something happened to Wi-Fi. There's a storm. You get knocked off Instagram.
Send me another request, Glenn.
I got you.
Yeah. So it was just me, just competing. Again, basketball was so intense.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because I do hear people who are sharing their stories about whose ass they busted or just whatever it may be. I get it. Again, I get it. But when you just nice, it just happens.
Well, a lot of times
it happens all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I get yes.
No, but a lot of times it's usually that person who maybe is probably an upperclassman that we have to challenge ourselves. Maybe it's our freshman, sophomore year, and we have to reach that next level. And it's not really maybe outscoring them or doing better than them. It's just letting you know you're on that level. You know, I always explain to people after college, you know, I put basketball in the back burner to come home, take care of my sister, 2 kids. Took care of them for some years. But when I fell out of love with the game of basketball and got back into it and played against Anthony Mason when he was on the Knicks, let me know that, yo, you could play in the league, right?
Yeah.
It's just that you're not there. And that was just a confirmation. So it's not really just busting anybody's ass. It's just letting you know that confirmation.
Very good.
You know, that confirmation.
Very good.
You know, and again, when you score 2,000 points in your high school career,
everything was a confirmation. I'm sorry to say.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Everything, you know, playing with the boys and holding my own, and you know, and having that, you know, wonderful burden of being the only young lady on a basketball court, right? Playing with a whole bunch of dudes. That was confirmation.
Got you.
Right? Showing up with my dad at 7 a.m. and bawling and having people want to play, you know, work out with us was confirmation.
Right.
So it was all, I will say this, you know, I was reading through your IG one day when you posted something of me. Thank you. About, I don't know when it was, but someone
it was on top. It was, I remember, it was an article that had some of the top players in New York City history, right? And you guys was featured in this article. I don't know, it was a magazine or article, and I don't know
what it was, but someone, I have to find it because I thought it was so amazing, and it was something that I didn't even remember, right? It was a story someone wrote in your comment section of IG, and I have to read it because this is something that I don't even remember, okay? Someone wrote, crazy story. They're talking about me based on your post, right, Glenn? Crazy story. When I was 18, and this is coming from a young man now, and probably when he was a little teenage boy back in the day.
Yeah.
Crazy story. When I was 18 and played in a summer tournament in BRC against her, meaning me, and another nice young woman at the time, they had a good team. They were the only two, and this is Charlene Canty, who he's speaking about, the young lady who had the 2 older sisters, Mr. Canty, Lee Canty. They were the only 2 girls playing on a boys' team, and on a team. And he was playing with. He was like, my team had Alvin Askews, Jerron Belcher, Jamal Tinsley, and a few others from Bed-Stuy. They played for Brownsville because we represent BRC.
Right.
Brownsville. He writes, Chinyere killed us. I think she finished with like 30 or 35. We lost by 2, but her game was crazy, way ahead of her time.
Wow.
I'm like, Alvin Askew, Jerron Belcher, and Jamal Tinsley. Word, I was playing against them as a
Who knew?
How that's wild to me. You know what I mean? That's super wild to me that someone actually remembered that story about me. And
I tell people this all the time. Since I've been doing this show, when I read the comments and what people are saying, I would let them know and tell people that are watching you remember more things about you than you do.
I know.
And a lot of people don't really understand that. And now you get to see, like, I just remember playing against some boys who knew who I was playing against.
Right. You know, and I said that from the start when we linked up before this, like, it was so easy. It was easier for a guy to remember the only girl on the basketball court requesting
right.
than me remembering all those stories. It's quite interesting. Not everyone has that story, and I'm honored. I am so, I don't want to say honored, but the fact that these guys actually played with me.
No, it's real. It's real.
It's like, and they were. There's this story. I won't say who it is, but this guy who I'm friends with to this very day was like how He lost to me in a game of like 2-on-2 with somebody, right, at Wingate, and he could not believe it. He said from that moment on, anytime he was asked to or played against a girl or just whatever, he didn't care. He was never going to lose to a girl again. Just in that one situation with me, and I get it, and it was probably very tough for these guys to compete against young girl at that time, but it was definitely triple tough for me to be on the court with them. So for any of these guys not to physically try to want to hurt me or anything, that was very gentlemanly of them.
Right.
There were
they
times
just wanted to outdo you.
Definitely some rude comments though, Glenn. Definitely some rude comments, okay? Definitely some wild style comments that I heard directed towards me, maybe behind my back or whatever. Definitely wild, but never a guy intentionally trying to hurt me. So
Right. The one thing I do not do, I do not press the like heart on negative comments. Actually, I get rid of the negative comments because I really don't feed to negative energy. And I rarely get any negative comments. But the one or two that I do get, and it's usually somebody hating on someone else. That's usually it. We not having that. See you. That's to get rid of you easy.
We're not. We're totally not doing that.
So let's talk about the recruiting process, right? And what schools that you visited that led up to you going to Iowa State, Iowa University.
Yep.
Yes.
University of Iowa. So all of these, and I was working out with some young girls today. I have to give them a shout out. Alani, who's an 8th grader, and her wonderful mom, who brought her to Wingate today at a workout for an hour and a half from 2 o'clock to about 3:45, so an hour 45 minutes. Alani. And these 3 sisters who are 8 years old and 10 years old, a set of twins, Madison and Mercedes.
Nice.
Older sister, Malia. My point is, what was my point? I was telling them about the basketball process and how there are all different components, right? So when you're doing a drill on the court, there's all components to doing that drill. It's not just doing an inside-out cone dribble, right? We could all do an inside-out cone dribble, right? And go for a layup, right? But it's all the components from head to toe, right? It's getting the shoulder movements, right? It's selling it. It's thinking about creatively you doing the drill and selling your inside-out dribble, right? It's creatively thinking that a defender is playing against you, right? It's all of those components and elements to you getting that drill, right? And do it correctly. It's with your feet, chopping it up. Not chopping it up this way, but getting in that low stance. So all of those components, that was the word for today, right? I like to give them a word. All of those components and elements, right? All during that drill is the same thing where those components and elements led me, right? Being on housing, playing with the boys team, doing this, poly prep, all that basketball made me become the top 5 recruit in my class in 96, for the girls high school basketball nationally. So all of these components again had all of. I hope I'm using it in the right. I am. Let me just.
Yeah. You talking about? We talking about the your recruiting process?
Yes, right. All these elements, right, are what helped me be the top 5 recruit, getting letters, phone calls, messages, more letters, more phone calls, more messages from like starting at 9th grade, right? From all the schools, any school you name it, I had it. And this is just the lane of the girls basketball, right? But I also had that lane of being on the boy, on the boys team that had a whole. We'll talk about that maybe another time. element of a recognition, right? So this side of it was recognition from the, colleges. My 5 visits, Glenn, were the University of Iowa, Rutgers, Illinois, Seton Hall, Georgetown, and GW. Those are the 6 schools that were my last schools that I really wanted to concentrate on. And I made 5 official visits and 1 unofficial visit. My unofficial visit was at GW. My other 5 official visits were at Illinois, Rutgers, Iowa, Seton Hall, and Georgetown.
All right. I want to stop you for 1 second.
Yes.
What was it about the unofficial visit, right? To GW, and what made you not want to go there?
Right. I think it was the fact that it was simple. Maybe I was in the DC area with my family, and I didn't need to hang out with the girls on the team and be on the campus for all 3 days. Right. It was just like it was not a paid situation where they flew me out. They did all that stuff. So that's what made it unofficial.
Yeah, I know that, right? I'm just saying, like, when we talk about all of those big schools, that's the smallest school out of all the schools that you named, right?
Right.
Now,
they were still top 5 though. They were definitely still top 5 in the country.
Okay.
I think because, and we, through all of my different careers, Glenn, right? I
Yes.
wanted to be, and I still wanted to be in a high like university.
No, listen. I get it. Trust me. I get it. And a lot of times we pass up on a school that want us the most. That's going to do this.
It was
Here. Take this for 4 years, and this is yours. You do what you want to do with it. And I'm talking about the basketball.
Right. It was a quite interesting story because the last 3 that I narrowed them down to was Rutgers, Illinois, and Iowa.
Right.
And at that time, Teresa Grentz was at Rutgers. Vivian Stringer was at Iowa. And
that's I get it.
Okay, and a regular, I'm not going to say regular, but I don't remember who the head coach was at Illinois at that time.
They weren't Vivian Stringer.
Right. So this is what happened. They had a full coaching switcheroo on me. It happened to be that year. That's how I knew a lot of shit was going to go down, right? See Vivian Stringer while she was like, University of Iowa was like, and sold me on it, right? And I was with the Supreme 7. Again, the #1 women's recruiting class in, I think, women's college, high school / basketball history, okay? We have 7 All-Americans, first team.
Right.
C. Vivian went from Iowa to Rutgers. Teresa Grentz went from Rutgers to Illinois. And the first assistant from Iowa, from the University of Iowa, stepped up to be the head coach.
And you were stuck, you couldn't transfer because the coach left?
So this is what happened. So these are all the schools that I was thinking about going to, and all those head coaches changed it up for me. So everyone went to a different one, and now they were like, now the person that was saying Rutgers goes to Rutgers is saying Illinois. And the person that was saying Iowa is now saying Rutgers goes to Rutgers. But what really sold me was going to the University of Iowa. Those girls, I knew it would be an experience of a lifetime, and it surely was. That's how it ended up being. It was just an amazing visit. I knew that I would play on that level of All-Americans. I was wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. Iowa has no professional sports to this day, I believe.
No.
So everything was women college, University of Iowa, Hawkeye, and everything was Iowa State Cyclones. Everyone was fixated on those D1 programs. So there would be like 4,000, 5,000 at a game just to support women's basketball at Carver Hawkeye Arena. So that was what was going on.
And you guys made it to the Sweet 16 that year?
So we made it to the Sweet 16 that year. My daughter is showing me her edges. Your edges look nice. One time it was like this. I was like, yeah, just thanks. Yes, we made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, losing to UConn, and we were Big Ten champions. So I have that underneath my belt as far as my experience playing with the University of Iowa Hawkeyes, and that's which, needless to say, that's when I decided I wanted to come back home because I was homesick. You know, that's another thing that
Plus, you're a teenage girl from New York City going to Iowa.
Yeah.
Fields, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you know, I always tell people I came back for my boyfriend, which I did. You know, I totally did. I was like homesick. I was like, this is enough. These girls really, really play basketball and eat, drink, and do basketball for real. You know, just like our layup line alone, Glenn, was like these girls, you know, laying up. They were clapping for us, okay? And the last girl, she went on to win a chip for the Seattle WNBA team. She would, at the last person on the layup line, she would dunk the ball.
Wow.
So we would do like the layup drill, or no, that layup tap drill. Excuse me, the layup tap, dunk it. The last one. So all of those things, and I still have two teammates who I'm very, very close with to this very day. One of them just got a head coaching position, Nadine Damone at a HBCU, and another young lady, Malika Wells, who's an assistant coach down in a school down south, and one regular old ballet dancer who was a regular student who is still one of my best friends to this day. So it's the relationships that I built at that one spot for 1 year that was just amazing. So yeah, I transferred, and I ended up being offered when they heard that I was transferring. You know, those people heard that I was transferring.
They don't get no name. Fordham don't get any name.
So you know, first those people were like almost, it was another tier round of Division I schools that wanted me to play basketball for them. You know, not many get that opportunity to play. By the way, I have to give LaWanda Green a shout out. She was at OSU. We played against each other at OSU when I was at Iowa. She was a sophomore. I was a freshman.
Another Big Ten person, right, for NYC, who came home and went to St. Peter's. Get that?
That's what I wanted to say. I mentioned it really quickly, but now that I have my thought together about one of the things that again, elements that I think are really important when any athlete has the opportunity to play a sport that they love is picking the right place.
Yeah.
And to put everything into a factor. Theo, can you turn that down, please? My son, who has watching something. It's very important to know what school you want to go to, not only on the playing fields, right? And not only in the classroom, but also socially, atmosphere-wise, because every coach can sell you, and it's a business, right? Yeah. And thank goodness for NIL. I love that whole thing. But every school, every coach is going to sell you the same thing. We're going to take care of your child and treat her as if they're own. They're going to play basketball and love this. And we have this for them. We have that for them. And we could do this for them. All those things. And it's very important that you get around your squad and your support system and your personal board of directors, right? And you recognize, you know, you have that checkoff list from even where you could do your laundry comfortably, you know, where you maybe the dining hall, making sure that dining hall food is right.
That's right.
I think it's very important to know what school that you will be technically, right, for the next 4 years of your life or not, right? And I think that's a very important thing as athletes and their families and support units go through that process of, you know, the whole recruiting process. So that's something that I definitely try to tell younger generations of kids that are playing a sport now and want to go to the next level, whether it be prep school, JUCO, D1, D2, D3. Know where you fit in and know where they fit in with you.
That's right.
Very, very important. So that's why I transferred to Fordham University. That's where I got another opportunity to play basketball. It was a wonderful experience there. I went from, playing a high D1 Big Ten to playing Atlantic 10. That was the second or maybe the inaugural year of it being an A10 conference. They were part of the
don't stick your nose up at the A10. That's a tough conference. A lot of pros come out of that conference. A lot of good quality ball players, right? So,
yes.
And I guess again, you found your comfortability. You got to be around your family, and you finish out your career the way you wanted to.
Yes. And again, wonderful relationships with people. And, I always say one of my favorite basketball players, two of my favorite basketball players came out of Fordham University, Vann Robin, Bev, and William Smush Parker.
That's right.
Though let's not forget those years of playing under one head coach and then Bob Hill for 1 or 2 seasons. So, Fordham was a great place for me to finish up my basketball career and graduate from.
Don't knock it, people. I'm telling you right now, Greg Pedro, right? He, the king of Staten Island, he beat Kenny Smith in the city champion. Not Kenny Smith. His team beat Malloy. He played for St. Peter's. He wound up going to Michigan State, another Big Ten school. Where did he transfer to? Fordham University. And now he's a world-renowned dentist.
You see that?
Still giving guys buckets in 50s and 50 and over.
Are you serious?
Oh, he's still giving guys buckets. I think he's maybe in his late 50s, and he's still giving guys buckets. I had him on maybe like 2 months ago.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
Again, another Big Ten guy from New York City. It don't work. I don't care who it is. We can go down the line. So I'm telling you, don't feel bad. I'm telling you, because we don't mix. We go over there, we like water, and it's oil over there. I can go down the list of people.
I also think that in my case, Glenn, I mentioned Red Star earlier and being on this boys basketball team, right? And that experience alone was one of a kind. I mean, it's not often that you get to share the same space and basketball court with Richard Parker.
Right.
Rachel Alston. I mean, I don't know how much, and Cam, and a host of other players that I, played with, right? It was an experience that led me, and I'm not sure if you know this, but to be featured in Essence magazine, to be featured in
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated and Robin Roberts, A Passion to Play, and having my own Nike ad, right? All of those, that was the storyline. So it was that lane of being with the guys, that lane being with the girls coming out of high school and knowing the importance of like what school you go to with all of those things happening for you, right? So, me and Nisha always say, like, this is the joke that we like to, share with, like, joke around. We should have went to like Columbia University together. Here you have the elements of New York City that her and I were both about, because we were walking around in these streets being the best basketball players in high school, right? Her and I. We should have went to Columbia because we had the academic rigor. Excuse me.
That's it.
Rigor. I was trying to all at the same time. The academic rigor, and we could have, should have, would have, could have, but we would have had that basketball in us to be nice, continue to be nice, and play for a New York City team. So that's the joke that me and Nisha.
No, but I think it's real. I think it's better to, especially for college basketball, to be a big fish in a small pond rather than be a small fish in a damn ocean. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and a lot of times, again, when we young, we like, I want to go to
All
the big
those things were
school. I want
happening
to go
to
to
me.
those big schools. And a lot of time we're not appreciated.
All those things were happening, right, Glenn? You know, we in this hour plus, we talked about how I was discovered as a model, right? We talked about me being on TV. We talked about all this, and it was just like more and more and more and more and more of just being nice.
Yeah.
And
But it doesn't take away from you being nice.
oh no.
It doesn't take away from you being nice. This
No,
is the reason why I hunted you down for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We got this interview. You know
the
what I
freaking
mean?
Jamal Tinsley story.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure there are others out there, but because I've been so far removed from the basketball, from that, I'm one of the first to ever do it.
That's right.
I want to say the first to ever do it. As I see these beautiful girls representing basketball and baller beauties and the other, they don't even know their homework about it. They don't even know someone like me exists. The only person who I believe
paved the way.
The only person who I may believe knows that I exist is one of my mentees, Sky Lindsay, who went to Christ the King and then played for St. John's, who I actually love dearly, her and her entire family, who I also was a doula for, which is a birthing coach for her baby Prince, who's now going to be 3 years old. But she probably is the only one of that, like, late 20, early 30, new, whatever they have going on at Nike and Rucker and basketball, ball and beauty, basketball babes and blah, blah. Like, I did that for y'all.
Yes.
You know, Misha and I did that for you guys on the real levels, on the highest tier level. And that's what we want. We want I love to see that now, but I also, as young ladies and people in general, we have to know our homework, and that's very important. We need to know more of our homework, the young lady side, and then I mentioned all those young ladies. Katasha, how many people even know Katasha Artist and Kendra Nelson and Lovelace and the Candy Sisters and Mika Basketball? Not that many.
I'm still looking for Kendra Nelson. I had Katasha Artist on. So I had Nikki Avery on. She's like the new Nike, face of Nike girl who's doing in the pro leagues.
Right. She probably never even heard of me.
Yeah, well, she will now.
It's great. I think that, with these platforms and what you and these platforms are doing is allowing stories like me and others to be shared and heard and acknowledged. And you said to me on a text message to, give me my flowers while I'm here, and I really, really appreciate that, because I want to be able to, if it's just one person who watches this and really gets it, is that as long as you have a consistency to your being balanced, it's not even that the sky's the limit. It's not like life is abundant. You could do anything that you put your true enthusiasm towards, and that's why I was able to be successful in all those nooks and crannies of an English muffin. I was able to accomplish so much and have the support of family, have the support of friends who were going to Eastern Invitational, of having support of a boyfriend in high school who was constantly running around the track with me and going to Prospect Park and dribbling and going to every schoolyard with me, playing against the boys, and was there with me with my mom and my dad. It's those people. It's, it's the support of, that mother I mentioned earlier who was, I was playing on the boys team with her sons, and she would come to my girls game. It's all of those layers and, like I said, components that made my story a really unique and one of the original stories out here in these New York City, Brooklyn basketball streets. That's just it.
And listen, y'all. So I think it was maybe a couple of weeks back, maybe a month and a half, 2 months, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I'm on Broadway because I'm going to
my God,
go with my guys, because my guys are being honored, right? they're doing something George Floyd event, and here I'm coming through, and this young lady says, "Excuse me, you can't go this way." I'm like, "Well, I'm here to meet a friend." And she looked at I had my hoodie on. She saw the logo. She was like, "Oh, basketball heads. I'm supposed to be on your show." Like, who you? Like, no, it's me.
It's me. I was like, "Hi, it's me, Chinyere."
Yeah. I was just like, "Oh, wow, small world." Just like, yeah, I'm one of the producers on the show. Blah blah blah. I was like, check you out.
That's exactly that is the story. So,
And I think you was missing the Emmys because you won an Emmy, right? You was like, I'm supposed to be, and I'm here working.
What?
Yeah, that's
Right.
the story.
Good,
Yep.
yeah.
My
Yes.
guys, AB Money, JR, they was there representing Rap the Fundamental. And
I was asked
Yeah.
to be a part of the first George Floyd event over here in Town Hall in the city. Theo, you need to go to bed soon. Okay. He's listening yet playing, right, on his Nintendo Switch. I was asked to associate associate director for this live George Floyd event at Town Hall. And this is, it was a one-day rehearsal, same day air of the show, where you got me when I still didn't have my run of show. People are starting to pile into Town Hall. People are like saying they have tickets waiting for them at roll call.
Yeah.
You got folks who don't know where the green room is. You got other folks who are like, where's blah blah blah, asking for the person that left them tickets, asking for, do you know where the step and repeat is? Do you know where the red carpet is? And here I am, because I was there since like 8 in the morning. I happen to be that person that knows what's going on, right? I'm the associate director of this live event. And I see you. No. You, what was it? You come over. I see you like making your way. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Listen.
I stopped it. Like,
New York, the official home of New York City basketball. I walk around like I own the joint.
That's what it was. It was a little too confident knocking for me. And you already know, when you're speaking to someone's nice and been there, seen that. It was a little too wiggly wobbly. I know where I'm going. And no, you do not, sir. You do not agree.
Right.
I was like, no, you can't go there. And you're like, I was like, and you got the person on the phone. And I knew who the lineup was as far as honorees, obviously, right? I'm part of the freaking show. And then I saw your sweatshirt. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, what's your name from Basketball Heads?
Listen, I get this.
I was like, okay, let me escort you downstairs.
There you go. And that's how it usually is, folks. People see my face. The other day, I was going to the health food store, and a guy's coming out, and he's looking at me. He's like, yo, bro, I know you from somewhere. And he looked at, come on, I'm always wearing my merch. By the way, for you people, the merch is here. Always got it, right? Because we are the official home of New York City basketball. Listen, he said, yo, I played with Kenny Anderson. I played with Malloy. So I was like, all right, cool, bro. He was like, nah, yo, you're doing a great job, man. I watch all your shows. I love what you're doing.
I requested to join.
All right, cool. So he said, I love what you're doing, bro. And I was like, all right, cool. I go into the store, salute to my guy, Bull. Forgot his whole first name.
That's fine. It's fine.
Said, right. But anyway, he's waiting for me outside. So I go outside, and he opened up his phone, and he shows me the Malloy Tarleton game with Malik Sealy, Adrian Autry, and showing the lineup. He was like, yo, bro, just let you know, I know a lot of people do this to you, but this me right here, Tuck Kenny Anderson. I said, what's up? Salute to my guy, Bull. It's real talk. But this is what I do, and I was glad to run into you. I'm glad I ran into you. You got to connect.
I would have never. I was like, hi, no, you can't in. I was like, hi, you can't come this way. Nope, you can't. Oh, I know who you are. I'm supposed to be on your show. It's just, that was just crazy.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So how did you rediscover yourself after basketball?
Oh, thank you. I still am trying to rediscover myself. After I graduated from Fordham, or actually my senior year at Fordham, I had the wonderful opportunity to get an internship as a runner, a golfer at CBS Sports. And that's when I just fell in love with, again, obviously, still, with basketball, sports, but also behind the scenes. I was so in front of the scenes my entire life. It was an automatic love and thirst for sports broadcasting and everything that goes along with a show. And because of my background, I knew all the different layers of what a sports show is, whether it's a taped sports show or a live event. I've been there, done that. So that transition from me being everything that I did as far as a retired, right, actor, model, everything, right? I would tell people I retired from so many different careers, and these are careers now. It was wonderful and easy for me to transition in that seat of being a runner and golfer to a gopher, and to, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Everyone says sometimes I pronounce words incorrectly. That's the Brooklyn in me. Whatever.
It's so good. But you went to that and you got an Emmy. Who does that?
Yes. So after, my point is, yes, I've been working at CBS Sports for a long time now, over 20 years. And in those 22 years, I have won a couple of Emmys. Yes, a couple of Emmys for my coverage or my work on the NFL on CBS, which we know the NFL airs on CBS and other networks, but the best one is CBS Sports. And for working on coverage of March Madness men's basketball.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. When I get picked up on a national level and the network picked this up, you're going to be my first choice to be my producer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate
that.
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
I said this, I was going to say this to you even beforehand. Just reading through some of the things you did. And it'd be good to have someone who's from the culture, of the culture, but also know the ins and outs of the industry and know how to make things run.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Yeah, thank you. So I had the wonderful pleasure of working at CBS Sports for that amount of time, and still, I just pulled a 18-hour shift the other day. That was I started at 4 p.m. and ended at 10 a.m. the next day, all for a show that aired for 1 hour. But I pulled an 18-hour shift the other day. But that's what I know. I know production. I know what it is to be an athlete. I know what it is to be a fan. I know what it is, everything that has to do with a sports broadcast. And that's what's made me become a true success in the television sports broadcasting world. And I love it. I love the relationships and people that I've become best friends with to this very day, who I've learned and admired their work as far as dedication and just know-how of the experience, because it truly is an experience for the fan, and it's for sponsors to make that money, right? So it's all of that. Right. It's all of that. Basketball. I could. And when I had my first interview, and I'll say this: you asked me, how did I find my love for basketball? No.
How did you rediscover yourself after basketball? And it seemed like you did. You rediscovered yourself, right?
I did. But now after, can you turn that down, Theo? Now that I've been in this lane for such a long time, you know what I've been really coming back to is one of my favorite pastimes, and that's basketball. And that's why I'm on your show today. For the last, I would say, 6 months, I rediscovered myself and have remembered about and now reminiscing and going through these, interviews with you now. Basketball is my love. It is. I'm learning to eat, sleep, and breathe basketball again. And for a while, I haven't watched the NBA. I haven't watched the WNBA. And the only reason why I was watching college basketball is because of CBS Sports' coverage of college basketball, right?
I only watch college basketball.
So I've been happy the last 6 months, and it starts very, very small, and it's about community. I've mentioned community throughout this broadcast. I'm currently working with. I was approached. Actually, no. This is how this simply happened. I found one of my old coaches, Coach Rocky, who coached me at Rocky Rosa, who coached me in my first Rutger women's, when it was the first game or something at the Rucker back in the day. And there was a women's unlimited, right? I think they have a women's, so I'm slowly coming back, and it is there.
Right.
Was I playing? No.
No, listen, I stepped away from the game for such a long time. I told you that, right? Right after college, my mom passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sister had some problems. So I had to take care of my nieces. And since it took me away from the ball, especially when my mom passed away, I kind of fell out of love with the game. And I stayed away from it purposely. And then, like I told you, somehow the Most High kind of brings you back in, right? When you least expect it.
Mm-hmm.
My friends was telling me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, yo, you need to do a basketball show. And I was like, that's corny. Who's doing that? You know? And then my friend who, he's the editor for NBC and does some other editing and, in the entertainment industry. He was like, yo, Pooh, you always going to the high school games, and sometimes I would post them, but I didn't have basketball heads. I just had my own regular page. He said, yo, you should do a basketball show. And I was like, are you talking to my other two best friends? He was like, I haven't spoken to them.
No, I'm just saying something, right?
So that kind of let me back. And how you were just training some kids today, right? When you got away from the game, somehow it brings us right back.
It brings us right back. And when I saw Coach Rocky Rosa, I don't know, someone posted a picture of him on IG. I was like, oh my gosh, I used to play for him. Like, it was just that. I was like, oh my God, I used to play with him, for him. And I DM'd him, and he was like, Shay, I was like, this whole beautiful exchange. And it was such a moving just exchange of just memories in a quick little DM message. And I was like, where are you still coaching? He was like, yeah. I was like, where? I saw him the very next day coaching running a practice for Castle Athletics. I showed up and I volunteered my time for about 30 minutes, just tweaking a couple of the things that the young ladies were doing on the court, the girls were doing on the court. And then right afterwards, Misha Butler introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Eric. I can't think of his last name. Excuse me.
Eric Hicks, Game Over.
Thank you. Eric Hicks at Game Over. Thank you very much. Big shout out.
Yes, that's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy.
And even that whole story was just crazy about how Misha connected us. I show up, and now I've just been volunteering every Saturday at the Sky Dome.
Let me know the next time you're there. I'm going to pull up.
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
When I first started my show, Eric made sure I had T-shirts and hoodies for the first 100 shows.
That's right.
Then I did an awards show because I just want to make the first year special. And where's that?
Eric. Yep.
He gave me trophies.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm going to see Chinyere on the 26th because I'm going to the premiere of the New York City Point Guards.
Yes.
And I have to give Kenny his.
Yes.
Yes. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about. And that's community, right?
Yes.
That's community.
Salute to Eric Hicks, real good brother, right? And I know you got to get ready to go, so I'm not gonna keep you too long.
No, it's fine. No, I was just gonna actually re-up my lipstick.
Nah, it's all good, right? but big salute to Eric Hicks, real good brother.
Yeah, so it was.
I appreciate you.
It was all of those things, Glenn. Of reaching out to Coach Rocky Rosa, connecting with Eric Hicks, and Game Over, that has really brought me back into my love of basketball. And that's why I was approached by Castle Athletics to start having workouts. And I will always have a free basketball clinic or workout. I follow in the footsteps of my dad. You know what I mean? That's this part of me. But Castle Athletics wants me to start a fourth and fifth grade girls basketball program. So it's been really difficult to find some fourth and fifth grade girls. However, I've still been volunteering my time and having workouts during the weekends at Wingate High School, the outside basketball courts.
Let me know. Okay. I will pull up. And I forgot how my mind slipped me. Kendra Nelson was one of the trainers in one of the clinics that we had. Actually, she came to two of the clinics. So I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to get her at the end of the month because she's definitely, she's a neighborhood superstar, neighborhood hero. And a lot of people look up to her still to this day. So salute to Kendra.
And I do want to give one more.
I have a number too. I do have a number. I have a number. Yes.
So it's been a really nice beginning, rediscovering of my old basketball self as now a mother of three, right? As a Emmy-winning associate director and producer, as all these different hats.
Let them know.
As an adult now, right?
That's right.
As an adult, that I can actually be a better service as an adult in my life right now, helping young athletes, boys or girls. It's that foundation. And today I had a wonderful workout with those 4 girls today, which I posted on my IG story. But it was great to be at Wingate. It was great to see some of the fellows who's still on the side over there as men with their younger, just playing ball, having it such a community type of playground, and me working out with the girls, still had them hit the track at the end of the practice when they were hot and tired. I said, you have to give me 2 laps around the track. I don't care if you walk, roll, crawl, you're gonna finish 2 laps around that park. So
if you have an iPhone?
I do have an iPhone.
Cool. See, I knew you had an iPhone. Listen, you can send me that. If you taped it, send it to me. I'll post it on my page.
I will.
I'll post it on my page.
All right, producer. I see you.
No
you.
Doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
I see that. So, Glenn, we went, oh my gosh, we did well. We did 2 hours worth.
I'm about to get you out of here right now. I need you to go through this top 5, and then we're going to be finished.
Oh, top 5. Here we go. Okay, so.
All right. Before we get
first.
there.
Yeah.
All right. No, before we get there.
Yes.
Last question. What is one thing that you regret that you wish you would have did over?
Oh, God.
One thing. Not the whole story. Just one thing.
No. I don't have any regrets.
Okay. That's good. Real ones don't. And nothing wrong with people who do. But
there's nothing. No. Life is abundant.
That's right.
folks are here who don't know their purpose and still trying to figure it out. And
everything has a purpose.
Everything has a purpose. If you're going to, I don't know, be the best BB gun shooter of a squirrel in your backyard because too many squirrels are in your backyard, that's your purpose. You know what I mean? It's everyone has their, because my friend has a squirrel problem and she was telling me about it earlier.
Because I'm like, where did this come from? Like, what the hell?
Tell me about a squirrel. Anyway, it's a purpose, right? And,
got you.
And whatever your purpose is, it's okay to not know what your purpose is. And it's okay to take time to practice on yourself to understand what that purpose is.
Okay.
So the top five.
Top five girls you played against. Or boys.
Oh, I was going to give you 5 boys, 5 girls.
No.
Hello?
You only can give me 5, not 10.
5.
This is 5.
Nisha Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Marbury.
Mm.
Oh my God.
It's the hardest part of the show, I know.
Oh my gosh. My brother.
Okay.
My brother.
I can hear in the background. Something's going on in the background.
Oh, it's my son and his phone, his Nintendo Switch that I asked him to turn down several times with his big toes and big feet.
That's 3.
I'm gonna
Nisha
go
Butler,
with,
Stephon brother, your brother.
I'm gonna go with Aileen Williams.
Okay.
She played for Sheep's Head Bay, went to University of Maryland, played for the Olympic Festival team, who's one of my very, 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 very best friends to this very day.
Got you.
I haven't met the 5th person yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll play ball one day and be like, no, this person is tough. I don't know. The 5th person? I can't even. I will say tough. Oh, Shamika Hoswa.
Hello.
Oh,
How did you get that, right?
Oh my gosh. Where? Hi, Shamika.
That's right.
Shamika. Yes,
okay.
I would say those 5 people. Thank you. I've never thought of it, and I should have been prepared for that question to be asked of me, but that was a good one.
Top 5 players in Poly Prep history.
Malik Russell. He walked through the hallways. What's his name? Yannick Noah's son, whatever his name is, right?
Yeah. Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah. So terrible. I'm like, who walks? Moi. Me. I don't know. Are there any others besides us 3? I don't know. I don't know my.
What about the two girls you named that you played with?
Oh, I wouldn't say they're the best. I mean, we're talking about
if you can't name 2 or 3.
Jennifer Jimmer and Victoria Sendra. There you go. The 3 best coming out of Poly Prep. There is a young lady.
Come on now.
I know that's terrible, right? There is one young lady. I do not know her name. Who ended up playing for Georgetown that I heard was very nice. She actually broke my one of my records, and I hear she was. I forget her name. Damn, that's really bad. But remember, I told you I was very far removed from the game for 20 years, and I have an excuse. And I'm a mother of 3, so my brain's So yeah. Any other questions before we end this? And I really would. And a year from now, let's do this again. I don't know if I have enough. I have a lot.
No, last one. And I'll tell you, I'm gonna pull up to you during one of your training sessions. So.
Oh yeah, I will definitely let you know, Glenn.
All right, top 5 players in New York City history. Then you can get that out of here.
Oh gosh. Here we go. I'm glad we spoke about Lloyd Daniels. Rod Strickland.
Who got the job at LIU? Salute to my guy, Rod Strickland.
Congratulations, Rod. That's out of New York City. You said New York City.
That's it. That's it.
Nisha Butler. She's still always.
No, you have to say that. That's definite.
This is what I have to say.
Yeah.
Lloyd Bragg. Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I'll say him.
No, he's a New York City legend. You got that's
and Stephon Marbury.
I was about to say, don't leave my Lincoln guy. I'm a Lincoln dude. That's where I come from. That's right.
Yeah. You know,
that's right.
That was just nice with his. It's always been. I would say those 5. Those are my 5.
Yes.
I think that's a solid 5 for.
That's a solid 5. That's a solid 5.
It's tough. You know, we just said we're such a culture, right? It's, you know, we would have to be like forwards, 2 guards, you know, centers. We would have to like break it down like that if we really want to.
This is New Guard City. This is New Guard City. This is what it is.
That's just what it is. And I'll end off by saying, Glenn, continue on with what you're doing on this platform. Welcome back to the basketball world.
Yes.
I know you bring great joy and happiness to folks that haven't seen you in a while and folks that are now being introduced to you. I'm sure that the success of your basketball tournament was greatly appreciated throughout the community. I mean, what I saw on IG from pictures and trophies and the basketball heads backdrop, there's not many of you out there who could still do it, still be accepted, still be embraced in these communities. So let me be one of the many who say thank you. And I really appreciate what you did for me. It's part of a cleansing. So thank you very, very much for asking me to be a part of your show today. And if I ever see you out and I am part of any production, I'll be sure to let you straight in without questioning where you belong. It's so random.
No. Listen, I appreciate you. Listen, go take care of your family. Go get your rest. I know you've been there for a lot of hours. Say thank you. And New York City appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah. Listen, not too many times when we can say that us basketball heads, players, greats, legends have experienced different industries. Being a model, being an actor, being in commercials, movies, whatever it is. To be a producer, an Emmy Award-winning producer. Started out as a runner, all right? And then come out on top, smelling like roses. After being one of the top players in New York City history. Move on to college, realize sometimes greater pastures is not for us. Sometimes we need to be the big fish in the small pond where we're loved and appreciated. No matter what you go through, you stick in there, life's going to turn around and make it right for you. For our guest, Chinyere, Vann, she rediscovered herself in a major way. So, to all you young people out there, never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your passions. And realize sometime when you give something up, like myself and Chinyere, it's going to come right back to you. And you learn to love it and appreciate it. So to all my basketball heads out there, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more great interviews. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the official home for New York City basketball. I think I must remind you, we got that merch. Keep supporting, keep the love. Make sure y'all stay safe out there. It's New York City. It's going to be a hot summer. Peace.